Hello everybody, it's the 4th of June today, and despite giving this tree a red label, I didn't get round to repotting it. I did some earlier work to it, and then that was amongst the footage for Timey Wimey videos that I lost. But here's a little bit of what I managed to salvage. So it's the 15th of May, and all sorts of repotting this tree this year, 2022. Gone out of the window now. But I am going to, now that it's in full leaf, it being a stone fruit, you shouldn't prune them when they're not in full leaf, specifically because of a disease called silver leaf. But I'm now going to start cutting this tree back some. Quite hard. So I'm removing some of these long growths in favour of a new branch coming out there, and hopefully this tree will flower again for me as profusely as it did this year. Fortunately, these are only going to be small wounds as well, so that should alleviate some issues with silver leaf, well, which isn't prevalent this time of year, which is why you prune now. I'm hoping that the tree will go mad back budding and put out a lot of new growth, which, as I say, any new growth it puts out now, it should flower on next spring. Okay, so there we go. I'll give you a quick 360, looking a bit more sparse now, but I'm sure it'll make up for that over the next little while. Okay, back to today. I definitely think at some point I might try and remove these rocks and varnish them, because they look so much sharper and interesting when they're wet. So maybe if I put some gloss varnish on those rocks, they would always look like they're wet, and that would sharpen up the image a little. Let me know what you think, or am I barking up the wrong tree with that? But for now, what I want to do is I'm just continuing to pinch out some of these growing tips. I recently, as well as the fact that you shouldn't prune cherries or any stone fruit during the winter because of a disease called silver leaf that they're prone to get if you do so. I also recently read that in terms of spring cherries, and this wasn't a bonsai piece, it was just about cherries in general, you should not prune spring cherries past July, or the middle end of July, because otherwise they won't have time to ripen the wood and set the fruit buds. So I'm just going to keep pinching out for the next month and a half any new shoots, encouraging it to ramify until, say, about the middle of July, and then I will allow it to ripen, as it says, to get me more flower buds. We have got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 little black cherries 6, 7 little black cherries this year, which isn't many considering how much flower it had on it, but let's see if they stay on or whether the birds will have them. So it's the 7th of July now, and I'm just giving this cherry landscape its last final little pinching. It hasn't fleshed out as well as I had hoped. I had planned to repot it this year, but I left it too late, with one thing being another, and I think that was a bit of a mistake. I think the tree's a little bit root bound, and that's probably why it hasn't fleshed out as well as I would have liked, but I think it will be okay. I'm going to trim that dead piece off there, and it'll get a repot next spring, even if I have to lose some flowers. That was the reason I didn't repot it earlier, because it had such a glut of glorious flowers. But this is about the last opportunity to prune it. Pinch out a few of these suckers that are growing from the root base, and at some point some little chappie's going to have to come back for his bicycle, I guess, but hasn't yet. Okay, so I think we'll end this Timey Wimey video on this tree here. Maybe I'll start another one if we get some glorious autumn colour, and then show it in its winter nakedness, and follow that with a repot video next spring. Thank you so much for watching. Please, please, please do take care of yourselves. Do the usual YouTube things, the liking, the subscribing and the commenting, but most of all, stay safe everybody.